I'm 26 years old, and apparently I'm in $78,495.43 worth of debt. And I say apparently because up until today, I genuinely did not know that was the total of everything. I sat down, I added up my 7 credit cards, my private student loan, my 5 federal student loans, my husband's 6 credit cards, and his car loan. And this is what we came out to. Now, I will say about 20,000 of that is the federal student loans. And if I'm being honest, they're going to have to catch me to get that money back. They're going to have to catch me. I don't know not one person who's paying those back as of right now. And I'm not going to be the first.
Hey guys, Robert here. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to react to this video from this young lady because she has a considerable amount of debt. And so the first thing I would want to point out is what she just mentioned about the student loans and what I would advise you all not to do so that you can determine if you want to buy a house. This is what I mean. If you do not have subsidized student loans, whenever your loan is in deferment, meaning she's on some type of income-based repayment plan and, there's no payment, well, then the government in those subsidized instances for approved deferment payment plans, they pay the interest. Well, if you don't have that, you may be on unsubsidized student loans. And while you're on deferment, the balance, the interest is still accruing. So if you are the type of person that feels like you're entitled to monies from anybody or any entity, you're not ready to buy a home. And I'll tell you why. Escrow accounts, your taxes and insurance are going to be something that is either a part of your monthly payment or something that you pay separately depending on how much money you put down. And if you have that mindset when it comes to taxes and insurance, then what mindset? The mindset that the government is going to have to come get me before I pay this money back because nobody else is paying it back. Not the right attitude to have. And you probably should continue renting. That's the first thing that I would say. If you agree with what I'm saying, let me know in the comment section.
As long as they have that zero on my account, that's what we're rocking with. As for everything else, my goal is to have everything paid off by summer 2027, which isn't a lot of time, but I think I can do it. Now, let's talk about how we even got here in the first place. Most of my credit card debt came from when I was younger, between the ages of 18 and 23, especially when I was away at school in Missouri. I was financially illiterate, loved to shop, and credit card companies were giving me limits I had absolutely no business of having. My first credit card was with Discover, and they gave me a $15,000 limit right off the bat.
You should not buy a house if you're not ready to take accountability for your behavior. If you heard what she said when she was away at school, okay, she had no business receiving a credit card and no business getting the loan limits that she got. Well, I would say that if you're away at college, you should have the basic universal understanding of I shouldn't spend money that I don't have the ability to pay back. She seems like a very intelligent young lady, very articulate, and I don't know what her home life is about, but seems pretty well put together, right? And so if you're someone that is always pointing the finger at everyone else for the reason that you're in the situation you're in the context here, debt, well, then you're not ready to own a home, respectfully. If you're someone that loves to shop and spend a lot of money on what you want to spend it on, okay, homeownership is probably not for you because you're not going to have any monies for when you have that incremental increase in your escrow account due to taxes and insurance, or when you need to buy air filters or filters for your dishwasher or washing machine to prevent big capital expenditures. You're not going to have that money because of your behavior. And then when you don't have it, you're going to feel like you were duped into home ownership. Whole time, you put yourself in that situation. As my mother-in-law says all the time, I love it. You did it to self. Let's continue.
Why would they do that? And then to make matters worse, Apple gave me $10,000 on top of that. And it basically just kept going from there. Like, I don't know. As for my husband's debt, I genuinely don't know how he accumulated all of it, and I honestly don't really care. The majority of this number is mine anyways, and now that we're married and I'm managing our household finances, his debt affects our goals too. But here's the good part. I've actually already been working on all of this.
That's the first accountability I heard, especially if you have a spouse. Doesn't matter where the debt comes from. Shout out to her, because two became one. Doesn't matter where it came from. We got to deal with it. Secondly, she's saying, I'm going to take responsibility. Here's the lesson in that. When you have a spouse or someone that you're in business with, as far as home ownership is concerned, you want to make sure the person that's taking control of the finances has the ability to do that, meaning they're not impulse spenders, so on and so forth. Secondly, just because that person is handling the day-to-day, it does not relieve you from understanding what's going on. Because see, saying that number, whatever your number is, 20,000, 5,000, 100,000, you got to see that number, because out of sight, out of mind. So shout out to her for taking accountability. Shout out to her for saying, hey, a lion's share of this is mine. Doesn't matter where his comes from. We going to tackle this together. And before I stopped her, she says, you know what? We've already started. So let's hear what it is that she's doing.
I'm gonna be honest. When I graduated, my Apple Card was completely maxed out. But as of April 2026, it is fully paid off. Instead of just allowing the debt to keep accumulating interest, I ended up researching a lot of hardship programs. I was able to get my Apple Card to 0% interest for a full year. And I'm actually using some of those hardship programs for some of my other cards like Discover and Navy Federal. And I believe my husband is on one for Best Buy, but I could be wrong. Either way, those programs have honestly been one of the biggest things to help me make so much progress so fast. And now I have a much bigger goal.
Shout out to her. I don't know if you heard that, but if you find yourself in these situations, especially with these credit cards, she mentioned reaching out to those entities and asking if they have some type of hardship program. And it sounds like she was successful in getting that with, I believe she said, the Apple Card. And they gave her a 0% interest rate. All right. You also could possibly do a balance transfer from one card to the other if you have a certain period of time of 0% interest. That's a great opportunity to knock that debt off without the interest accruing daily like it does on these credit cards. Here's another one. A lot of people don't do, but call your current credit issuer and ask for a lower rate. You'd be surprised. If you have good payment history and you've been with them for a minute, yeah, call and ask. True story, a testimony of mine. When I first got married, I had some debt. My wife had some debt. During that time, I used to listen to Dave Ramsey a lot because the job that I had to drive. We implemented the snowball effect. All it is this. First, you have to list your debts out. They did that earlier. She said it earlier. She didn't even really know what she had. And a lot of you guys don't know what you have, especially if you've dealt with some challenges in the past and you know it's back there and it's just like, I can't see it as if it's not there. It's there and it's metastasizing. You got to look at it. So you sit down, you put it on a piece of paper, whatever you got to do, you look at it. And the snowball effect is this. Say you have 5 cards, whatever the minimum payments are, okay? Whatever the minimum payments are on those cards, you take we're going with the lowest balance and everybody else gets the minimum and we pay off anything extra with that lowest one. Well, when that payment disappears, we take that payment that was going there and we just add it to this one. So this payment is getting extra money paid towards the principal. That's all it is. Nothing sophisticated. Everybody else gets the minimum payment, so on and so forth. And I believe she'll hit her goal because the deal is this. Now everybody is on one page in her house as it pertains to that debt. And when you get on one mind and on one accord, teamwork makes the dream work. As you get that momentum going, those endorphins hit and you see success, and then it's just a snowball effect. Happens the same way when it comes to investing, called compound. The compound effect really works. So I love that. Shout out to them. Let's continue.
Turning 27 this year, I'm a homeowner, I'm a newlywed, and we might possibly want kids in the future. So I don't want to keep carrying all this consumer debt into these next stages of my life. But I'm still young. I still want to shop. I still want to travel. I still want to go out and just enjoy the money that I'm working for. I just need to learn how to do all that without spending money that I don't have.
I love it. She said a couple of things, and this is what I heard. They already have a home, so love that. A lot of you guys need to hear that. She's only 26. The sooner you can do it, the better. So there's a lot of good going on there. Shout out to her husband as well. She didn't say what his name was, but she doesn't want to take the mindset and the behavior into the future because they might want to have children. A couple of years ago, everybody was talking about this generational wealth. And I knew that was a marketing term because most of the people that were talking about generational wealth, their behavior, the fruit on their tree, even online, was all about me. It's selfish. And so to do something for someone that's not here yet, you got to sacrifice. All right. And it sounds like they're on that path. She's not there yet if you listen, but she's only 26, right? We got to let grace abound. She has a giving spirit because she's taking you along the journey. And hopefully a lot of you guys will be inspired. And the younger you do it, the better it is. But it has to be done the right way and it has to be managed. So she doesn't want to take that mindset and teach her children how she was taught so that if they choose to go to college, and that's a big if, that's the majority of the debt that she had. Don't let that go over your head. You guys got to start looking at that. Hopefully they'll be able to train them up in the way that they should go to know that the borrower is servant to the lender. The deal is this, man. You got to hold yourself accountable. You have to track what it is that you're trying to do. You have to look at it often. I've taught mine once a week. Every Friday, you look at your bank statement and that credit card bill, and you don't put nothing on the credit card that can't be paid off every Friday. When you do that long enough and over a period of time, then you pass that knowledge on to the next generation, aka generational wealth. I thank you for spending the time that you spent with me because that's our most valuable resource. I want to find out where I stand as it pertains to buying a home, getting onto the housing ladder. Well, you're in the right place, I believe. Click the link in the description and schedule a free 15-minute consultation so that I can hear what it is that you're trying to achieve and then advise you on how to move forward. Not only is debt one of those things that is ravaging a lot of folks here in America, another thing is not understanding the true cost of ownership. I made this video right here that I want you to watch so you can have a real understanding of what it costs before you owe. You guys be good to one another. Let grace abound, but most importantly, y'all stay blessed. Indeed.